Yeah, I mean, I went into the second fight against James Head a bit banged up. You know, obviously having a big fight camp, having a fight, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's... Thanks.
You're all right. About to teach a class. Sorry. Kids are rolling in. Unruly. Disrespectful. Technique, physical-wise. Shut the door! Guys, get out of the way. Thanks. Appreciate it. Things like that. And, shut the door! What's wrong with you people? Well, I mean, yeah, he's in the UFC and he's had some wins. He's fought some really tough guys. Can't say I've studied him all that much. I just signed the fight. Paperwork's actually still in the office. So, yeah, I mean, in the end, I got to go perform. It's about me more than anything, you know, and that's every fight. You know, every wrestling match I've ever been in, every fight I've ever had. When I feel good, I perform well. When I perform well, you know, victory is pretty much the end result. So, yeah, really all about me. And again, you know, I've been struggling with injuries the last couple of years, so it's really important I get through this fight camp healthy. No, I mean, I did another interview just recently with a guy here in Asia who asked me the same thing. And the way like we get our fights is, you know, obviously when you're healthy, you just call up. So if it's the Monday after your last fight, you call up and say, put me right back in the rotation. You know, put my name back in the hat. They will, and they'll give you like a, you know, a set of dates. Like, hey, we can get you back in by this month. So, you know, with me being, you know, coaching and you know, obviously the injuries as well, every time I've ever emailed the UFC and said I wanted to fight, I've kind of pegged a date, you know, a month. And they say, we'll try to get you in that month, no worries. And it's happened every time. So they've been really good to me. As far as that goes, that's a pretty cool level of honesty and consistency that has helped me plan like my life and in my career. So yeah, I don't really like, you know, choose locations. I didn't want to go down to Brazil. Like that was one of the offers for September. There's a September show in Brazil, but it wasn't because I didn't really want to go to Brazil. It was more about the date. I wanted the extra 2 weeks because it fit my travel schedule and life after the fight a bit better as well. No, going into the Head fight, I was a bit banged up, obviously, you know, even from the previous fight camp, but it was a guy I thought I could take down and I thought I could finish. I didn't really think I'd be in there for 15 minutes. But going into the fight, you know, with a different mindset as well, like wanting to get the fight done because I didn't want to sit myself in a situation where I'm limping out of the cage and banged up. So, yeah, it was a pretty tough spot, you know, going all 15 minutes, getting myself in a bad strategy and a bad mindset in the third round. If I'd have just stood there like a Muay Thai guy thinking, just blocked and traded and played a bit evasive, I think I was going to win the decision. You know, I let the story of the fight be my failed takedown attempts, which was really me trying to be aggressive and get the fight to the ground and do what I wanted to do, but not realizing how it looked to the judges because you're in the moment, you don't really see it. I felt he was running for me, if anything. You know, he didn't really engage, no front headlocks, no major game. I think he threw a few punches a few times, but again, like he just kind of ran from that whole aspect and also didn't force the striking. He was still very picky with when he entered to strike. So one of them tough fights, and it happens, and yeah, it derailed me. Like it took me from being potentially 5-0 to sitting at 4-1 and injured, not being able to come back for, you know, a year and a half. So that really, yeah, took its toll. And then, you know, to get a good opponent like Story was quite exciting. Like felt a bit like, wow, cool. They still respect me. They still know I'm a pretty talented guy to put me in there with someone like that. Unless they were just feeding me to him. I didn't really think of that angle, but now that we're talking about it, that could have been the angle. But yeah, I felt pretty confident going in, felt happy like to get back, and then 12 days before the fight, sprung a leak. So straight, you know, to the doctors, straight to the physios, doing everything I can to get healthy, get in the ring as a single-minded, single-disciplined fighter, really. I was there as a boxer, and that's all I had. That's what he's pretty good at, too. So, yeah, that ended up being a pretty tough fight. He didn't want to clinch because he was winning the stand-up game, and, you know, he got a couple takedowns. I didn't. So now I sit here 4-2. Yeah, having a lifetime in sport, in any sport, you're going to get banged up. Most guys retire because they're hurt, not because they don't want to play anymore. You know what I mean? So, you know, eventually, yeah, it's gonna accrue, it's gonna add up. And I'm coming to the end of my tether. My window's slowly closing. Jens Pulver and Phil Baroni's like, you got to know when to hang it up. Chuck Liddell. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen. I've never been knocked out. Haven't been TKO'd. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I want to fight while it's fun. I want to fight while I'm good at it, while I enjoy it. Yeah, wherever that takes me. I mean, I was almost done 2 or 3 times. Yeah, after the win versus Carlos Newton, that was the first time. I was almost done. UFC told me they didn't need an American with X amount of losses. They were doing a show in Australia. I think it was like their 2nd or 3rd one. I tried to get on all of them. You know, the only scraps I got from the UFC up to that point were Ultimate Fighter phone calls and things like that. But always fighting, always being busy and living overseas, I couldn't fly to Vegas twice. I couldn't fly to Vegas to do the casting. You know, and I said, put me on Skype. You're gonna see my face. You're gonna see everything. You know what I mean? What do you want? You want me to do videos for you guys? Look on YouTube. It's funny. You know, I'll do a few more. What do you need? You know. So in the end, I never got on tough, and I guess I'm glad I didn't. You know, the way I got in was pretty grandiose and it was a bit fun. So yeah, it was all right. Yeah, and then obviously the 2 injuries. After the head fight, I thought about it. After the Story fight, I said it. But here I am, back halfway healthy again after a couple of re-aggravations of a major injury, and see what I can do. I was talking about dropping the lightweight when I was about 180. I used to wake up, like in 2008, 2009, I was waking up at like 175 pounds, 172 pounds. So I dropped the lightweight for a year. Had trouble getting fights. I only had 2 fights in Australia. And and then got back on the traveling thing, which brought back the meat diet, and convenience food and things like that. So got a bit heavier, and in the end, my body would have to change again to get back down, and that would take a long-term commitment of really going vegetarian almost again for the year and let my muscle, like density, change. I would meet Conor McGregor at lightweight. I would starve for 6 months to meet that kid at lightweight. Yes. Shut the door!